New York City. What a great spot to break down a little Brock Purdy tape, right? Maybe a little Kyle Juszczyk tape as well, because he's actually got a house on Long Island where he lives in the off season. That's where Kyle's wife, Kristen, is from. Anyway, you can be sure that at some point soon, I'm working on it now, I'll show you the real Brock Purdy highlights against the Packers, the true highlights. I mean, the throw to Jennings, the deep throw to George Kittle, but I want to take a look at a more under the radar play, because this was the second 49ers offensive play from scrimmage, but I think it did so much to illustrate what San Francisco excels at offensively, and that is beating you with numbers. Look here, Christian McCaffrey splits off to the right. You got trips left, including Kyle Juszczyk himself, who was a slot receiver at Harvard. Well, here he is the furthest wide receiver for the 49ers at the left, alongside Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel. The throw obviously goes to Deebo Samuel, but then look at Juszczyk and Aiyuk block. Juszczyk takes out Jair Alexander. It's a luxury to have a fullback who's quick enough to take out a cornerback. Jair Alexander is a good corner. Kyle Juszczyk is a better fullback. But look here, Brandon Aiyuk, man of the hour. We've been talking about him a lot. Takes out Keyshawn Nixon, who might be the man of the hour for the Packers. He's the guy that's been talking a little bit of smack. Deebo Samuel's former college teammate at South Carolina. If you watch the tape of this 49ers-Packers game from the divisional round, Keyshawn Nixon is struggling. 49ers are putting a body on him in a lot of different spots, including this one where Brandon Aiyuk lays the nice block, and it turns into a nice big gain early on for the 49ers. So just a quick little look at what makes this 49ers offense so damn hard to defend. Because you've got to focus on Christian McCaffrey on one side, and then you've got to focus on Deebo Samuel on the other side, and then everybody can block. So they are really good because the sum of their pieces. You lose Deebo Samuel, as they did in this game, and it's not quite as pretty, because I think a lot of the game plan against the Packers, I'm going to go into this in about a week when I delve into the full film review. A lot of the game plan against the Packers, who like to sit back in zone coverage, take away the intermediate and the deeper routes, was predicated on a lot of the shorter routes and yards after the catch. 49ers lost Deebo to injury early, and because of that, they were derailed a little bit offensively. But you see why it works so well and why you want all of these guys as part of the mix, because it all works together in cohesion when Christian McCaffrey is being a gravitational force on one side, Deebo Samuel's delivering on the other, and superstars, guys like Brandon Aiyuk and Kyle Juszczyk, some of the best at their respective positions, are all blocking. Also notice, when we replay this one more time, Aaron Banks and Trent Williams, they team up to get downfield. Offensive linemen who can move are very, very key for the 49ers. Anyway, New York City, I just happened to be right here on Park Avenue, Upper East Side. I can take a look at Park Avenue as I walk out. We're flying somewhere else right after this, but figured I'd stop in New York, make a video, talk about Brock Purdy, talk about Juszczyk, Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel, all those guys. Stop by Grand Central Station, which is obviously a famous structure in New York, and found a little hidden bar in there called the Campbell. It was absolutely awesome. Tucked into a corner. Of course, you get the old-fashioned. You have to get an espresso martini when you're in New York, and that is what Margot got. So the Campbell, Grand Central Station, that is the recommendation. And then it was the East Pole for dinner, Upper East Side. It's amazing. You hop on the subway in New York, and it goes from being extremely crowded and extremely loud to nice and quiet, kind of like the off-season right now for the 49ers. Nice and quiet relative to what it's going to be in a few weeks. So this is the most 4th of July chess set ever. The Continental Army, and then we have our expert on everything British.
King George and his men.
What are they called?
The Redcoats.
The Redcoats. Who's the queen?
It's not Queen Charlotte. I don't know who the queen was. Queen Charlotte was beloved, but nobody remembers King George's wife, which is sad.
We do have the President George.
George Washington.
And his wife.
And his wife.
And the American flag, all to play chess.